So as nurses, what does early initiation mean to us? Is it a common language? Ma'am, is it a common language? No. Okay. Ma'am, is it a common language? No. Sir, you are very handsome, I must say, and I like your dressing. I don't know if your wife is around, but if she's around, she should pardon me. Please, early initiation, is it a common language?
But I'll just say yes for HIV, but not for something else.
Okay. So early initiation in the context of breastfeeding. That's what we're talking about. It's not actually early initiation in the context of HIV. So most time when we say early initiation for we, the pediatric nurses or the midwife, when you talk about early initiation, it means that putting the baby to breast within 1 hour of life. That's all. Putting the baby to breast within 1 hour of birth. Initially, it used to be 30 minutes. So don't be surprised. One of the documents, some of the policy, if you don't have the recent one, we tell you 30 minutes, but now it's now 1 hour. And you know what? Malnutrition in Nigeria is so huge that if nurses do not take that leadership role, we will not really come out of it. Every year, more than 2.6 children are stunted. 2.6. So which means that these children might not be able to do well academically, might not be able to do well when you get a job. And that is why you see some mom, they'll come to you as a nurse and tell you, please, can you prescribe something for me because my child is not doing well in school. But can you take them that memory lane of when you give birth to this child? Did you do early initiation? Did you do exclusive breastfeeding? And you'll be shocked what you will discover. So it's my story. There is a sense of being there. The system is angry. Is it on? Okay. So, either as a clinician or as academia, we must take advantage. To me, it's actually a low-hanging fruit that nurses should do a lot of research around it. Nurses should do a lot of promotion, either at community level or at the class level. Last week I was in Ebonyi with the student nurses, and none of them actually know about, they've never heard what we call IYCF, infant and young child feeding. Does that mean we don't have it in the curriculum? Most of the time as a nurse, you graduate, like the boss was saying, emotional blackmailing. By the time I finished my school of nursing, my father actually wanted me to go and work. And he said to me, you are the firstborn. Could you please go and work and take care of the younger one? And I asked him, Father, when you had 3, when you had 4, I told you to do family planning with your wife. But you said no. God gives and God takes care. So why is it that it's me that will not take care of them? I want to go to school. So, most of us will graduate from school, either BSc or the conventional one we have now. We want to work. The society pushes us to work. The economic status pushes us to work. And yet, we don't have the knowledge the man just talked about. So how can a nurse who is not confident and comfortable enough to talk about infant and young child feeding as a nurse, as a registered nurse, or as a midwife? And probably I also doubt it if IYCF is in the curriculum of the midwifery. Then if it's not there, we're in trouble. Because when you talk about, what do they call it now? Working against hunger.
Can you now remove and test? Okay.
Practically, it starts from day one of that child's life. Breast milk, and yet this nurse is not comfortable to talk about it. No wonder I have 4 children, but in all my 4 children in labour or in ANC, nobody has actually spoken to me about exclusive breastfeeding. Not even the way I should position my baby and feed my baby. Nobody said that. So when you go to the clinic, you don't see them talking. And that is why we want to just encourage us about early initiation, exclusive breastfeeding, which should be part of our day-to-day activities. So now a woman comes to your facility or a woman comes to ANC and it's not talked about. But now consider the fact that we have poor manpower. You will see a nurse or a midwife taking care of the whole hospital, not just one ward. You see a nurse, a midwife having about 4-6 women in labor ward, and even there is no light, she's using torch to take delivery. Yes, you have not built the capacity of that woman to take care of her child. But if you have spoken to her and you have taught her how to take care of her baby, especially the feeding aspect of it, you don't even need to worry about it. Once you deliver the baby, you dry the baby, you put the baby to breast, and the woman continue what we call self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is like this thing doesn't want me to present this issue. Anyway, so the whole essence of early initiation is what? Putting the baby to breast in the first hour of life. And how do you do that? Which means that even the woman itself needs to be what? Adequately fed. And that is why you see most of our mothers, they don't even know what to eat. They are confused, and with the hormonal stress, they don't even know what to eat. But most of the time when we go to communities, we do food demonstration. All what they need is actually available in the community. All food that they need. Let's take, for instance, the soya beans, the locust beans. All of these two, they are what? First class protein. But most of the moms don't know it. They are looking for meat, they are looking for fish. When you can even have, if you have money to buy crayfish alone, can also serve very well. And instead of our mom giving the baby at first day of life, we heard that some of our mothers give goat milk. So they will go and take goat milk and give it to the baby. Is that ideal? No, if only we can teach them and demonstrate it, even in the class, that will go a long way. Thank you very much. I hope it was fantastic. Thank you. So like now we're saying that globally an estimation of 1.3 to 1.4 million children days could be prevented each year with improved breastfeeding. Nigeria ranked the second when it comes to neonatal mortality. And when it comes to stillbirth, Nigeria still ranked the second after Pakistan. So what are we doing about it? What are nurses doing about it? Can't we play a role, especially now we're talking about breastfeeding? Breastfeeding rate in Nigeria now is between 17 to 27%. And the government is saying, oh, we can achieve 50%. Can we do it as nurses? Of course, yes, we can. So what we are also saying that malnutrition still underlines 45% of deaths of children under 5. That is true, in the sense that we know when you go to a clinic and you see children who have malaria and is malnourished, and a child who is adequately fed and also have malaria, who among them will survive? The one that is adequately fed. And that is why when you go, you see most of them are on blood. Especially when you go to the secondary facility in other states, you see a child on blood. When you look at the blood, you not differentiate between the blood and coke, and now begin to wonder what kind of blood is this? Something that we can prevent. Something that if you have taken your time as a nurse to talk to them about early initiation and exclusively breastfeeding. And more is known of the factors and challenges of mother initiating and practicing continuous exclusive breastfeeding. Yes, what are the complaints that we hear every day? Is it the nipple? They will complain of flat nipple. That is not a big deal. When a mother comes to you and complains of flat nipple, I remember in those days we were taught on how to examine breast and nipple. But we still do that as nurses. Ma, you do. Which hospital? Kuje General Hospital. So when they come for ASC, you examine their breast, you examine their pelvic. That is fantastic. I'm of recent, I don't hear that anymore. But these are some of our obligations that we're supposed to do for these women. But most of the time when you come to SCBU or NICU, you see them with flat nipple. You see the child dehydrated because the child cannot grab the nipple. And what do you do, ma? Most time when you see them like that with flat nipple, is there anything you do for them? What do you do? Can you share your experience with us? Ma, you can sit down. You are the so that we can live.
In Kuje General Hospital, what we do is we get 10 syringe, we cut the head and use it to extract the breast. Or you advise them if the woman still have time before delivery, that the husband can help her sort it out.
Fantastic. Ma, have you had such an experience before? Of a patient or of your client who complain of flat nipple? But that is the truth. Most of the time we use 20 ml syringe because at times some nipple have large nipple. So, and they are flat, you see them, they are flat, but you see them wide. So what you do is take that 20 ml syringe, where you put your needle, you cut it off, that round edge, that first edge, you cut it off. You now remove the plunger and you start it from that place you cut. You know that place will be rough. So the other side will be smooth. You gently place it on the areola and pull it gradually. Please don't just pull it at once. If you pull it, it's very painful. Either the woman is still pregnant or the woman just delivered. If you do that, she will bite you. So you just pull it out gradually and teach her to do it as often as she can. But when you want to release it, some people also pull it out like that. You don't pull it out. What you do, you return the nipple back. Then when you return the plunger back, then the breast will go down and you're able to release. And once you do that, you even see some drip of breast milk. These are the common knowledge that we should be able to teach our mom. And the students should also know in order to pass the message. Now, what we're also saying here is that WHO can now say that there are a lot of researches that have gone on, and it's no longer a doubt that any invitation exclusive breastfeeding is actually a child survival intervention. So if a nurse can promote that in your community, in the church, in the school, in the clinical setting, yesterday was what? Yesterday was important. Children's Day. But yet our children, our neighbors don't have access to even milk that is free. Yes, our children don't have access to good health. So we as nurses need to take that up. And that is why we are looking at this. Now, we want to look at causes of mortality in Nigeria. Look at it. Acute respiratory infection, vaccine prevented malaria. But the major part is what? Malnutrition. As what? A major cause of what? Child mortality. And that is why I just gave the scenario that if a child is well fed and have malaria or have typhoid, and another child who is not well fed or who is malnourished, you see they survive, they heal fast, they recuperate faster, and they get better faster. So we must take nutrition as important as it is for us as nurses. We don't need to wait for doctors to do that. That is just what I'm trying to say here. Oh, this is a long text. Under nutrition has been complicated or implicated to be at the heart of Nigerian Dole program in reducing child mortality. But that is true. Even if you cannot feel it because we are in FCT. FCT have a stunting rate about 9 to 7%. And that is why when you go to Pali, we have a SAM center. Who knows what is SAM? SAM, severe acute malnutrition. So we have a center in Pali that they manage them. We should not have that kind of center in FCT. We should be talking about Yobe, Medukuri, and the like, but yet we still in the heart of FCT. I just want to provoke us this happening. Not to be comfortable. Even as students, I could have loved if the students were to be here, so that we can encourage them. Their research area should be around breastfeeding as well. Any invitation. How many mom knows that? How many schools, how many centers, even primary health care center, lay emphasis on early initiation and exclusive breastfeeding. Yes. My Sam, severe acute malnutrition. So that is what I want to encourage us to do, that as nurses, we must know that one grey area. Do you know how much Nigeria is budgeting, released every year, to buy roof, ready to use therapeutic food? What we call pumping up, 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion to buy, which is not readily available or accessible. So, but we can do something about that. We can look at issues. What are the common misconceptions about breastfeeding? Some of our people will say, oh, when a woman delivers, you must leave the baby to stay there for 7 days before they give breast milk. Some of the people from my place that come from Osun, they will tell you, oh, until when the child take Omi Osun, that is, you know, Osun, there's a river there that they serve. It's until when that child takes it. When you go to the north, they will tell you about this water from Mecca. Sam, I mean this Sam. Zamzam. Some will say, oh, wait, until the child take only water from Jerusalem before they put the baby to breast. Not knowing that more than 80% of breast milk is what? Is water. And how do they even practice it? And that is why when a mom comes to ANC, or when you are in school talking to them, what do they do? What do you see them do? They will put the baby to the breast. The baby will feed it. Within 10 minutes, they will switch over to this breast, to the second breast, which means that the baby has successfully taken water from the first breast and taking water from the second breast. If we understand that, yes, there is something that we call fore milk and hind milk. So which means that we must encourage them, teach that principle of allowing the baby to finish, exhaust the one breast, so that the baby can take the fore milk and the hind milk. Which means that the baby might have taken the fore milk to satisfy the task and the hind milk to satisfy the hunger. And it's like, as we become sorry, I will run up quickly. So we talked about malnutrition as a cause, and here we also say that Nigeria has the second highest stunted body in the world. 11 million children are stunted. 11 million. Are we just going to fold our hands to just look on? Our children are dying unannounced. Our children are being stunted, wasting away. We cannot do that. Even it's not enough to say, oh, a woman have HIV, and for that reason, you should not breastfeed the baby. No, a woman who is positive can still breastfeed the baby adequately and have adequate complementary feeding for 1 year instead of the 2 years. All these principles as nurses we must know and teach our mothers. I've talked about early initiation. One thing about early initiation is this: if you fail to put the baby to breast, exclusive breastfeeding might be very difficult. And that is why mother will complain to you, my baby, my breast milk is not enough. My breast milk is not adequate for my baby. My baby eats too much, because they don't know how to really put this baby to breast. The positioning is faulty, the attachment is also faulty. So this actually, there's a diagram here that tells us about the practices of early initiation, comparing it with by a skilled birth attendant and the TB8, and you discover that they are almost the same. There's no really significant difference. So which means that we as nurses must take that responsibility to educate our mom. And in summary of it, if you just remember Operation 1624, what does the one mean? You just talk about it. What does it mean? Yes. Putting baby to breast in the first 1 hour of life. 6 means exclusive breastfeeding without water. Then 24 means continue breastfeeding for 24 months and above, like 2 years and above. Some of us will talk about 1,000 days of life. 1,000 days of life actually starts in utero, pregnancy to what? To 2 years. Some people say, no, it's after delivery to 3 years. No. And that is why I want the school to encourage the student to go into research like this so that we can bring out some innovation that actually demand from nursing and reading. We also talk now, we are looking at child survival, effective intervention. Effective intervention, when you talk about child survival, you're looking at what? Insecticide, mosquito net, we talk about zinc, we talk about vaccine, we talk about delivery hygiene, and steroids for preterm labor. But all of these study has shown that the one that is feeding is exclusive breastfeeding. So when you are talking as a nurse on child survival, one thing you must have at the back of your mind is nutrition. And nutrition starts with the one of that baby's life. So as a vendor, we just want to justify why early immunization is important. WHO has recommended that breastfeeding is an unequal way of providing ideal food for the healthy growth and development of infant. It is no longer, it is also an integral part of the reproductive health, and that is very, very key for us as nurses. Of course, we know that breastfeeding, especially early immunization, exclusive breastfeeding, provides superior nutrition for optimal growth and development. What do we see most of the time when you go to hospital? I don't know how much you do. One facility in Abuja that I'm not close with is your facility. But most of the time when you go to facility, you see NAN and all manner of infant formula, and it's being associated to nurses. They keep tarnishing our image. Even when the doctor prescribes it, you can tell them, can we try? You can support, all they need is support. 99.9 women will breastfeed their baby adequately. So instead of tarnishing our image, if you go to NAFTA will tell you it's the nurses. If you go to Federal Ministry of Health, they will tell you it's nurses that promote infant formula because they give us stipend, because they support our conferences. But that is not good enough for us to really spoil our name. So for us to know that yes, breastfeeding is superior, and some of them will just complain to me, look, I'm going back to work, how do I manage? What do we tell them? When they go back to work, what do we tell them? But we know the effect of what? The hormones that play. The two hormones that play into lactation. And what are those hormones? Prolactin and what? And oxytocin. Is it true? Studies have shown that prolactin produces more at night towards early in the morning. So we now advise the mom and encourage them. All they need is that self-efficacy. Yes, I can do it. Yes, it's my child. Yes, this is me. I'm nurturing the future leader. So if they wake up in the night and express their breast milk, some get as much as 1,000 milk. All they need to do is just to put it on the table like this water. It can stay here like this, same for 8 hours. You don't need switch, you don't need anything. And if you have fridge with constant light, it can stay there for 24 hours. If you have fridge and constant light, it can actually stay there for 3 months. So why would any woman with normal sex will not breastfeed her baby? Why will a nurse with normal sexing will not promote exclusive breastfeeding and early immunization? And another thing that we do is that we do a lot of work and we don't document. So when you go to labor ward, you check that column of early immunization. That if some register will tell you exclusive breastfeeding. So you that you know, you will rule it because in labor ward you don't have exclusive breastfeeding. All you have is what? Early immunization. You read it or you just put early immunization. So as soon as the woman put the baby to breast or you support her to put the baby to breast, you sign. You sign it so that when the government comes, everybody comes. And this you can put together and do a presentation at the international forum. Now, nursing ICN is coming in Singapore. I hope all of us are going to ICN. They are like to really know your head. And I hope all of us submitted an abstract for presentation. These are not angry fruits to be said that we can actually do. Of course, breastfeeding provide adequate water for hydration. Even those people that live in Maiduguri is very hot, but we can still practice exclusive breastfeeding. Do you know what I used to do? During breastfeeding week, I'll take a one when I was talking national TV. Those ones that lactate very well, I'll get the white cup and put the breast milk. I'll fill it. There's some one they lactate very well. You hear chew. I'll just fill it. We don't eat it. Within 30 minutes, it will settle. The fat part, yes, the fatty part of it, you just see that. It's not always much. The majority of it is water. You can drive your message by practical demonstration. You can do that. When it comes for ANC, they can actually sit down and also ask them, one of them, to practice how they feed their baby. You will see most of them, their baby is there, they are here, and they will be calling. No, how will you do that? And the baby will not latch on the nipple. No. So you must be able to promote what? Good attachment and good positioning. And what do we say good attachment and good positioning? A nurse will say, oh, you are crossing leg. And is that how to breastfeed? Hello. No, they talk about attitude now. What is your business on how to sit? How she's sitting? The book and the teaching says, let the woman assume comfortable position. So if she sits down and she crosses her leg, and so what? Is that the breast milk? So she needs to sit down comfortably. And she needs to put the baby what? To herself. Not put the breast to the baby. Some of them will do like this. No. Bring the baby to herself. And she position her baby very well, close to herself. Eye contact, tummy to tummy, with the hand, palm supporting the boot of it. When she does that, you see the what? Alignment. And that is why it's also difficult for adults to even take water and flex your neck. You take water and swallow. Is it easy? No. Now you have a newborn who are obligatory nasal breathers. Newborn cannot breathe with their mouth. So they are not like babies. They breathe only through their nose or their nostrils. So if you do like that, and some of them will even use their breath, some of them have big breasts like my own. So before you know it, they are gisting away and the baby nose is just stuck to the breast. No, those are the little things we can actually tell our mom as I ramble. Of course, we know that it protects against infection and allergy. It promotes bonding. I want to say that when you see a man who is doing armed robbery, who shoot and kill, you should look at them and that's it. Those babies, those men or women enjoying exclusive breastfeeding. Do you know what it means for a mom to carry the baby skin to skin? That your passion as a woman is transferred to that child, and there's this eye contact, and the child look at you and suck and suckle and suckle, and look at you and say, Mom, thank you, and will give you this full smile as a mom. Do you know what? Some babies even smile and the mother don't notice it because they're on phone and they're chatting away. Hello. Well, I'm rounding up. It's boring, yes. I know it's boring, but it's okay. So early initiation of breastfeeding is the foundation of life. Is the foundation of life. Because that is the first assignment of that mom to that child. And if she failed, she has failed. That foundation has been taken away from her. That is the first immunization she can give her child. And that is why you see some babies have constipation and some don't have, because of that purgative effect of the breast milk. So I just want to say that WHO recommend early immunization uninterrupted skin-to-skin contact between mom and infant to facilitate and encourage as soon as possible, especially within 1 hour of life. Woo! Let me just also briefly say that from early immunization we move to exclusive breastfeeding, which we know that all the nutrients the baby needs, the vitamin the baby needs, is present in that breast milk. And of course, we know breast milk is easily digestible. Do you know that most of us as nurses, we don't even know how to constitute the infant formula? infant formula. You are promoting infant formula. Yes, you cannot prepare it. And most of our moms, our baby come up with what? Constipation. A term baby constitution or preparation is different from a preterm baby. And some people don't know, they just dip the spoon and put it, and dip the spoon and put it, and dip the baby. And before you know, the baby will be struggling. Oh, no. But we can do, once you do exclusive breastfeeding, please trust me, you can forget the issue of constipation. And of course, asthma, allergy, diarrhea, ear infection, overweight, diabetes, obesity, all of those are a forgotten thing, especially when you practice exclusive breastfeeding. Of course, we know it also helps the mom to manage their weight, and of course, the issue of breast cancer, ovarian cancer is reduced when a woman practices exclusive breastfeeding. And as I round up, I just want to say that as nurses, we have a role in it. As the school, I'm happy that she just walked in. As a school, we have a role to play. If we take just that, imagine that 11 million children are being stoned in this country, 2.6 every year. We have a role to play. And the starting point is the school. When you see a bad news, please ask about our principal in the school of nursing or in the school of midwifery. When you see a nurse that cannot give good counseling, please ask for the principal or the school she graduated for. Apology. So what we're trying to say is that infant and young child feeding should be part of the curriculum. If we are going to reduce and fight malnutrition in this country, it must start from the school. The right attitude, we call it interpersonal communication. The right attitude must be there. The right language must be there. Many times they quote us, and she said this, she said that. No, that starts from the school. The student should not be looked down, because they shouldn't be. Being a student, I was a student, and I'm telling you, some of my lecturers, the country has been, they've never been there. So you cannot tell who is that child among those children that will be your helper, will be your hand. So I want to plead a passionate appeal that should be integrated in school curriculum. We can do that from school. Demonstration we can do. You can ask some of us to come and teach them. It's actually a one week course. And let me tell you something. Because some of us won't even take money, because we enjoy what we do. That is why putting it in the curriculum of school. Community. We need to take this message to the community. The community must be sensitive towards supporting women who are breastfeeding. Do you know that stress is an inhibitor to lactation? Many moms, they will deliver today. They will be the one to cook. They will be the one to prepare children to school, for school. They will be the one to go to the market. Mother-in-law will come. They will be the one to cook for the mother-in-law. So nurses must play a key role in sensitizing the community. You can gather them in church, in mosque, and talk to them. Again, policy. We can do advocacy to the government, to the local government chairman. They are just here.